My name is Darian, and this is my voice 10 minutes on tea.
Okay, so this is going to be like a crazier video, sort of, because I am now a whole entire year on testosterone. Like, that is crazy. This year has gone by so fast, and I've had so many different things happen, whether they be good or bad, it doesn't really matter. Like, so much stuff has happened. And I can't believe that I got to a point where I was even able to start testosterone in the first place because it took me a long time to get the courage to even consider doing that as an option. I guess I might as well sort of just go over the way in which I realized that I was trans and focus more so on like how stuff has really changed throughout this year. Basically, I have sort of always known that I wasn't a regular woman. Um, so there's probably quite a few indicators thinking about it on the top of my head. And this video is not scripted, unlike some of my other ones, because I feel like being a little bit more genuine with everybody today. Um, so basically, I remember being really young and feeling sad quite often for no reason in particular, and basically just feeling out of touch with my body. I know this is a very common experience for many trans folk, but for me, it wasn't. I couldn't really pinpoint what it was. I didn't think it was gender based. I thought it was just being insecure in general. As I grew older, especially when I first ended up hitting puberty, things were a lot different. I was more sad, more insecure. I closed myself off a lot, and I just felt really uncomfortable. I would wear big baggy clothes everywhere. I didn't like being in groups of like my friends, which were mostly women at the time, and I just didn't know what was wrong with me or why it was different from everyone else. And I grew up in a small town, so having all these issues that I didn't really know how to navigate was really frustrating. On top of that, I already knew about the existence of trans people. I never considered that somebody who is not a trans woman can exist, because when most people think of trans, they think of trans woman. And I've never heard of a trans man before. So I remember just feeling like, well, maybe that's a thing. And I stumbled across a few different YouTubers that were trans men or trans masculine, and I was shocked because I was like, wow, they look like men and they sound like men and they act like men, but they were born a woman. And for me, it was enlightening. I found it really fascinating. So I started to do research about it. I was like, well, how do they get all this stuff? What are the surgeries like? What does testosterone do to the body? And at the time, I thought it was just biologically interesting because I'm a big biology nerd. But I didn't think much of it. I remember talking to my family about how cool it was and showing them the changes, and I like could bond over how cool it was. And at one point, I was asked if that was something that I wanted to do, and I remember saying no because at the time I didn't think I wanted to do that. I basically became hyper femme when I went to high school because I wanted to feel like I could fit in. I tried to basically make myself more attractive in a feminine sense to other people because I thought that maybe that would fix the insecurity. I kept my hair really long. I started to do makeup all the time, painted my nails really often, started to wear crop tops, which were really uncomfortable. And I thought I was doing things right, but I just felt like I wasn't being myself unless I was at home by myself in my room. And when the pandemic hit, things changed. I knew that something was up, and I started to involve myself in more niche communities, I guess. I was involved in some protests. I ended up, I guess, becoming more aware about politics. And because of the pandemic, I decided to plan ahead of what I want to do in life, which is why I'm majoring in political science right now. It's really heavy and sometimes really boring, but it is really interesting. So, but not important to this story. But basically, I found other trans people online and I read about their lives and I became more and more curious. And I remember being like, man, well, I'm having similar things to these people and their lives are fine. Nothing went to hell. Like they're living, they're happy, and everything seemed to have worked out for them. And for a while I felt really guilty. I felt unlovable and monsterish, I guess, because I was like, how could I possibly want to be like this? Because when I was younger, I used to make jokes with all my friends that I was gonna like turn into a man somehow when we were back in elementary school, or I would always want to play the male characters in like the game of House, and I frequently pretended to dress up as a boy, and I remember asking for fake mustaches to stick on my face and running around the house screaming with at my parents that I'm a man in a funny way and doing a big muscle pose because I thought that was hilarious. And I've really just thought back at what I wanted as a kid and how even gendered toys that my brother, who's biologically male, got that I wanted that I didn't get, and how upset it made me feel to instead receive a bunch of girly toys like a bin of Barbie dolls that I could care less for. Um, and it's just stuff started to add up, and I realized that maybe I should experiment more. And so I looked up different types of like hairstyles and different types of clothing, and I sort of talked about the possibility of me being trans with my parents, but not to a grand extent, until I hit around 15 years old and I was doing really, really bad. So I basically wanted to come out as a trans man to them around Christmas time. I wrote a big document and I was ready to talk about it. I wanted to talk about it the day of Christmas, if Christmas went well, or at least near Christmas time, because I felt like I could not live any longer lying to myself and lying to these people and feeling guilty. And I wanted them to understand me because I loved them. And so I was about to share it until my mom actually got me a mug with my dead name on it. And I decided not to, but it hurt at the time. And I began realizing that I do have to say something because I've experimented by myself and on random chat forums with different names and chose the one that I have now. Actually, just because I wanted a certain amount of vowels and liked really how it was spelt, except for the extra A, so I've changed it for the E because I don't know, I thought it looked cooler. um, but at one point when my mom was out of town, basically I shared the document with my dad, and stuff started to be more real. I got taken more seriously, and it was really tough. because I wanted to basically cut my hair, get boy clothes, and go through the process of changing stuff as fast as possible. And that didn't happen. It was a lot slower because it was more realistic for it to be slow. But little old me did not enjoy that. Um, I slowly shifted out my closet and was able to get masculine clothing. I cut my hair a little bit, but I was a little too scared to commit fully until a few months after that. Um, and a few years later, I did finally reach out and start the process of trying to get testosterone. And at the same time, I was able to change my name, and I'm still in the process of changing my sex on my birth certificate because I had to do them separately, and it's just been really annoying to try to get all the paperwork filled out. So, still doing that. And yeah, I finally found a place that was open and available for me to just talk about what I want. And I started it, I think, probably like a month and a half or 2 months after that appointment, which was actually crazy quick because on average, at least for the clinic I went to, it was about 6 months or so. But they started to quicken up since the beginning of COVID. And I remember the first time that I got it, I really wanted to start it on Trans Day Visibility, which is why this is the video date, I guess, which is really stupid because I was considering highly should I do it on April Fools because that would be really funny, or Trans Day Visibility, which would be a little bit more meaningful. And when I found out that my town actually just had it in stock, I was like, well, I'm starting it now. I'm not waiting. I don't want to wait extra time. I've waited this whole time just to start it. Like years and years and years of just battling with myself. So, of course, I'm going to have it when I can. And now it's been a year. And I've been really consistent. I haven't ever missed a dose, which is crazy because I usually miss doing lots of stuff because my memory is not very good. But yeah, stuff has changed a lot. Like, I have grown an inch and a bit, which is weird because I thought my growth plates fused, but they haven't. I'm growing facial hair, which is actually really annoying because I have to shave more often than I thought I would have to. And it's also awesome when it's underneath of my chin and I can't do anything about it and I just have to shave it, and it's like patchy and not connected right now because it's only starting to grow, and it's really annoying. But it's also kind of funny. But I am enjoying it at least. I also obviously have just gotten more body hair. My fat's shifted around. My voice has changed. Maybe not as much as I want, but it's way better than it was before. So I'll take it. I don't want to sound as squeaky as I was. And it's been really fascinating, I guess, just because I never thought that my body could change to this extent. The fact that this is a human possibility is really neat to me. And I don't regret a single thing about being on testosterone. And I was worried that I would because I hear that a lot. I was like, but what if I regret this? Or what if I regret that? And oh, I might bald early. But I would rather live happy and bald than have longer hair and live sad, basically. I would not be able to stand to present as a woman because although I am very much so attracted to women, I was not girly and I did not like being treated as a woman. So I wouldn't be able to do it. I don't know how people do stuff when they know that they're trans really don't come out. And I know many friends that are like that, and it's insane to me. I was lucky enough that my family eventually came around to everything, although some are confused. At least there's an attempt to be supportive, which I do appreciate. And I find it so funny that although I have been pretty vocal about my identity since coming out with close friends, I wasn't very vocal about it until really this year alone. Um, Even back when I was in high school, I was too scared to really step up, and I still ended up using the women's washroom because I didn't want to experience violence. And that's common, unfortunately. And although I was worried I was making other people uncomfortable, I feel like being safer is better. But then I went to my university, which I'm at right now, and I was like, fuck it. I'll go to class, I'll present fully as male all the time. I'm just going to use the washrooms, and even if I seem a little out of place because I am relatively short and pretty skinny, that it doesn't really matter because there's no way I'm going to the women's washroom looking like this. I'm going to get kicked out. So it was either that or not going to the washroom because there doesn't happen to be many gender neutral ones on campus, which is annoying to many people, I'm sure. Um, but I've been pretty consistent, and it's been pretty nice to not have my gender come into question. I've had a few moments where it has, which was a little devastating to my ego there. But overall, I guess it's been pretty good. Stuff has gotten a lot better. I have dealt with a lot of random stuff this year, which maybe I will be vocal about, but lots of it's incredibly personal, so no guarantees there. But I would like to bring it up at some point in time when I feel ready. But yeah, really, this year is crazy. And thinking about how I'm gonna get top surgery done in August is insane because that's coming up. And I remember being like, oh my god, I have to wait like 8 months to do that. That's way too long. Why didn't I try to get a different time? But realistically, the time has gone by really quickly, and it hasn't bothered me too much. I mean, it bothered me a little bit near the beginning because I was like, oh, I could have planned it for this week break that I had for school that I totally forgot about. But I'm getting it done, and as long as I get it done, everything is fine. I'm just so excited to be able to pretty much just walk around shirtless and swim shirtless and come out of the shower shirtless. Like, that just sounds so cool. I know it's like really stupid for many people to be that excited, but to me, I'm really excited. Like, just the idea of even sleeping shirtless. I like, not that I can't do that now, but it just doesn't feel right. So I don't know. It sounds exciting anyway. So I am looking forward to it for sure. But yeah, I just want to make a longer video kind of explaining stuff. I did gloss over quite a bit because I don't want this to be like 8 hours long. Um, but this year has been crazy, and I'm also now starting exams, so I will be very busy, I assume. I'm not really sure the direction of videos in the future since I have hit, you know, 1 year. So if there's big drastic changes, I absolutely will be making a video about it. I'm definitely going to be making a video about getting top surgery because that is must have for me. Um, but I don't know about what else like in between that because I'm going to be really really busy this summer, unfortunately, with work and doing a summer semester because it's required for my program. Um, so love that. Love being too smart, I guess. I don't know. But yeah, thank you for watching. I appreciate anyone who's come along this journey with me. And even if you're new and you're just watching this now, it's nice to meet you, I guess. Um, but yeah, I hope that there's more joy in the future for me and for really everyone in this world because time is too short. And I think it's a better idea to live life as yourself and to live your life happily than it is to hide and to be someone that you're not so that you don't make people uncomfortable or hurt others. And obviously, this is only accurate for things that aren't incredibly violent. So don't use my advice for absolutely everything, because my words can be spun around pretty easily, I'm sure, knowing the internet anyway. But yeah, make sure that you all take care of yourself. I hope that you have a great rest of your day, evening, night, whatever time that you're watching this at. And thank you so much for watching. Bye.